Kam na streamek.
Okej, ľudia, možno sa teraz pýtate, prečo zase streamujem, keď už som spravil pokračovanie jedno. No toto je tretie pokračovanie, alebo stále pokračovanie jednoducho, lebo ten predtým mal jednoducho zlé pripojenie, akože mal slabšie pripojenie, tak som musel resetovať stream, aby mal dobré pripojenie. OK. Ale môžeme ísť od znova, Luka, takže je všetko v pohode. Všetko vyzerá nice. Všetko vyzerá dobre. Takže pripojenie.
No čo, papi mu neňo.
Čo to je? Jo, pozerám sa cez TikTok. Dobre, musím sa pozrieť na YouTube ešte pred týmto pokračovaním, lebo niekedy to jednoducho vypadne a jo. No lebo teraz už všetko vyzerá byť v pohode. Dúfam, že to bude celý stream takéto. Jakub, sem tam sa pozri na stream a povedz mi, že keď niečo ide zle. OK?
A idem na stream.
Takže v OBS studiu všetko vyzerá dobre. Aj tuto to vyzerá všetko dobre. Nice, tak otváram Games Mod.
Stream má zase 2 lajky.
Nice.
Slabo ťa je počuť ináč. Na tom streame. Ono to je o niekoľko sekúnd neskôr na tom streame, keď niečo povieš. Chápeš?
Ja viem, kámo, ale to zase vieš prečo? To takto streamy jednoducho fungujú, žiadne streamy nejdú plynulo. Možno u niektorých idú streamy plynulo, ja moc sa nevyznám vo streamoch, ale jednoducho streamy nechodia takto plynulo. Každý jeden stream ide aspoň o chvíľu pozadu. Ja som bol na streame na Zatoja a keď som tam niečo napísal do komentárov, tak sa tam ten koment neobjavil hneď a neskôr sa objavil. Chápeš?
Ja.
Takže nič nejde v reálnom čase. Normálne dve kancelárie, prvá kancelária.
Akože ale slabo ťa je počuť na tom streame.
Kašem na to.
No to je chlapci, nové video.
Deti si užívajú ničiť tu nejakého fialového animatronika. To asi je Menko ten fialový animatronik, lebo napríklad ten Menko je tam je
No invite ma. Invite me please. No invite ma.
Kamo, mne ťa nejde invite-snúť, počkaj. Môžem sa pozrieť ešte na ten stream? OK, nice, mám tu, že vynikajúce pripojenie. Takže to všetko ide dobre.
He then smiles in a very creepy way. The image is actually from the 1922 film named Nosferatu, but this scene scares so many
Lučpik.
from angry parents. Some of the parents even demanded that SpongeBob be taken off air for good. And for some time, the episode was not shown on TV. Did you get to see this episode when you were a kid? And if so, but the image is actually from the 19 vampire named Nosferatu.
Dobrý den, já jsem ten, co na něm kapalili.
He then smiles in a very creepy way. The image is actually from the 1922 film named Nosferatu. But
Takže chvilku.
Exploring an abandoned pizza place with animatronics. I decided to keep them. Exploring an abandoned...
OK. Ide stream dobre? Jo, ide dobre. Počuješ ma dobre, Jakub? Jakub. Jakub. Hm? Takže... Počkať. Au. Počkať. Ja mu zavolám cez WhatsApp. Kde je? Why? On je aj tu offline. Prečo je offline? Why? Prečo není offline? Online?
Exploring an abandoned pizza place with animatronics.
Jaj, Game Freddy Pizza 16 nights alebo Game Freddy Pizza night. A jednoducho to je aj ako roleplayová mapa, kde môžeš normálne že roleplayovať. A je to dokonca aj normálne hrateľná mapa s animatronikmi funkčnými.
Roblox game says horror movies. Tower of Hell. Roblox game says horror movies.
Na to. Jo, toto je o čom hovorím. Toto je o čom hovorím, táto mapa je normálne aj ako roleplay, dokonca sa to dá hrať aj ako s funkčnými animatronikmi. Ten tvojiteľ spravil to dobre. A tam aj normálne dvere, ten aspoň animatronikov. Jak to je animatronikov tu boli? A čo? Tak. Kde? Počkaj. To čo bolo? Prosím, povedzte mi to, čo? Prečo to bolo také hlasité? Počkaj. Ja som zabudol tieto... Ja som zabudol, že tu sú aj tieto entity. No dobre. Zabij. Yes! Jesteście no. Tiki. Ja zajmę do zostania kacania artista. Trochę dzipa sem dá na boca. Nie może.
Ale pozycji
O, ja sobie teraz nażywam.
No dobra, ale nie myślisz, że teraz wiesz na naszych...
Będzie takie miękkie.
No bo jeszcze zamierzaj uczyć. Chyba na początku-
Dobre, wszyscy to poczuły.
Tak.
Jakaś najwyżej. Bo tam prawie deszcz. Tylko... Tak organizujemy. Jo, celý ty animatrony si sú iba vybavené z takejto nejakej kostry, tu iba pár drotov, to je všetko. Čo je vla... To je prímo zaujímavé. Čo majú vnútri hlavy títo animatronici? Čo tam máš? Čo tam máš? Jo, jaký rozbitý endoskeleton. Fakt, je veľmi rozbitý. Všetci títo animatronici, ale... Jo, tento animatronik je... A endoskeletona nemá. To by to tam bolo. Tento Adam ani endoskeletona nemá. A pritom tam... som to povedal, že nie sú taký inteligentný. Ja ani neviem, či vôbec stále streamujem. Ja streamujem. No neviem, čo by som robil, lebo z nejakého dôvodu on sa odpil. Ja si ani nepamätám, či vôbec aj povedal, že musí končiť alebo niečo také. No čo už. Keby aspoň sa mal nieko, a keby aspoň jeden niečo napísal do komentárov.
This is because they've run into a copyright issue under Section 34 of the User and License Agreement. For more information on this topic, look up Minecraft Rule 34. Mojang just... No?
neviem. Čo by som robil? Lebo ma napadlia. Budem sa pozrieť na komentári a napíšte niečo, ak sa ho...
If one day you find that father's arm had turned into a squid's tentacle, would you choose to turn and run or call the police immediately? One afternoon, father came into Jack's room and he was ready to talk to him about some physical changes.
No, you're not a little kid anymore, and it's natural for you to pull away from your parents. But I want to let you know that I'll always be your dad.
Jack, who had already taught himself physical hygiene, blushed. He said he could handle all these problems himself. After his father left, Jack went to his friend's house. He didn't expect his friend Jill to go through the same thing. At night, the two depressed children went out for a walk, but they saw a bright light in the backyard. When they got closer, they found the parents of the two families were gathered together. In the middle was a shining object. They were mumbling in a language they didn't understand. The next second, the furniture floated up around them.
Dad, the coffee table's floating. Let's get out of here.
The two children were frightened by the change in their parents. To find out what happened, the two decided to collect evidence. So the next day, Jack sneaked into his parents' room. After some careful searching, finally he found a glowing stone in his father's pocket. Jack looked at the stone with excitement, but he was just about to leave the room when...
What you doing, pal?
Jack fooled his father by lying about finding a fishing rod, but when he left the room, father changed his expression. If one day you find that, father's arm had turned into a squid's tentacle.
Žívací nula. Nenávidím toto.
Boy found a glowing stone in his father's pocket. The shopkeeper of the toy store looked at it but said it was very unlucky that they are from Zubri. The two boys didn't understand what it meant. The shopkeeper closed his store, then he turned to them and said,
There's no easy way to tell you this. Your parents are aliens.
The two kids looked surprised. Then they followed him into the storage room. The owner claimed that the town had been a hotbed of alien activity. They had been here since the 1980s. The shopkeeper also produced evidence of previous sightings, but with only a manuscript. Jack still cannot believe. So the shopkeeper took out a jar with an unknown liquid, said just put their hair or nails here. You will be able to discover their secrets. The two men listened and prepared to go back to collect evidence, but they just left. The shopkeeper dialed a number out. On the other hand, the boys found their coats at home. Then their hair was carefully put away in a bottle. A surprising thing happened. When the hair was put into the bottle of unknown liquid, the liquid turned red. What to do? No one could believe that the parents were aliens. So in order to find out why they came to Earth, once again, the duo went to their own backyard. The parents of the two families were still gathered together. Tables and chairs were floating around the house. Parents gathered around the glowing orb. The parents were still gathered around the glowing orb, making unintelligible noises. Jack was so frightened that he collapsed to the ground, but the noise made with alarmed the mother in the room. The boy found a glowing stone in his father's pocket, watching their mother extend her squid-like tentacles. The two boys were so frightened that they fell to the ground and the chips were rolled up by the tentacles and then put into the mother's mouth. Seeing this bizarre scene, Jack has been scared to the point of incontinence. The former parents were turned into squid. The children were scared and fled the house, but it is not easy to escape. Eventually the two were surrounded by them in the house. Jack reveals their secret, but they weren't surprised. But instead of being surprised, they tell the two children plainly that
They're called Florks. You've got them too.
Naturally, Jack couldn't believe such words. His father calmly took his arm and, pointing to the red dot, he said it was a sign of maturity. After that, his arm turned back into a squid's tentacle. Mother also explained to them the reason for all this. It turns out that the children of their planet need to grow up on Earth until they grow tentacles before they can go back. The reason why they have not been told, it is also hoped that they can better integrate into the group. With the things at home floating into the air, Jack's hands also turned into squid tentacles. The two men looked at their hands with joy, although a little soft, but at least their parents hadn't lied to them. The time was right. The two families were ready to return to their home planet. Cohen's mother pointed to the brightest star in Orion, telling them that home was there. After the two families got into the 12-year-old van, Jack finally asked the question, wait a minute, can a van go to space? Father laughed. Then he flipped a switch. After a shudder, the four wheels of the van became engines. A 12-year-old van becomes a flying machine in a flash. The father pulled the engine. The winged van flew into the sky. Jack looked at the toy store owner on the ground. I did not expect him to wave his squid tentacles. Watching their mother extend her squid-like tentacles, his poor kitten was trapped in the middle of the river and was about to be swept away by the fast-flowing water. This is not a simple dog. He came to the beach alone, but unfortunately, the tide was high and he was trapped on the rocks. Seeing that the waves are getting bigger and bigger, it was about to be drowned. The The dog tried to swim back to shore, but the waves were too big. Just then, a big sea turtle swam towards an ant. The dog stood on the turtle's shell and supported through the layers of the waves. Soon, the dog was brought to shore. He said thank you to the turtle, immediately set out to find the cat's journey, and the cat was still in the river to play rafting. Unexpectedly encountered a black bear spirit. Seeing the wooden box floating closer and closer with the current, the cat has long been too scared to move. Only let the bear slaughter. At that moment, the dog suddenly appeared and jumped into the water and swam towards the black bear spirit. Grabbed at his ascent of just learned boxing. Black bear spirit momentarily difficult to fight. At that moment, the dog, who had the upper hand, suddenly swam towards the shore. In rage, the black bear spirit shifted its target hand immediately towards the dog and determined to use the bare paws to shoot it to death. Fortunately, the dog was nimble enough to seize the opportunity to get into the grass, and the cat had to continue drifting. Soon it came across a small waterfall. After the dog got rid of the black bear spirit, he kept looking for the cat's trail. The dog kept searching along the river, soon found the wooden box, but there was nothing but a hair inside. The cat's disappearance made the dog very sad, and at this time the cat was hungry. Hungry was looking for food in a meadow. It climbed up a tree. He saw a fox sitting around and digging in the dirt. The cat saw it put the food in, then he buried it vigilantly. When the fox left, the cat also returned to the ground. He crept across the sand and soon found the spot and happily ate it up. But unfortunately, the fox has calculated a lot, but did not count on its only peeping kitty. After the cat had eaten, the cat met a warm-hearted deer and lie in its arms. A beautiful sleep. This can suffer the loyal dog. Still running around looking for the cat was sleeping at night, but was awakened by a barking sound. Curious, he went over to check. It was a piglet stuck in the grass. The cat was eager to help the piglet out. The piglet then let him come to his house as a guest, and so it was. The cat met a group of piglets and he slept with them. In the morning, the cat was generously invited to have breakfast. The cat was ready to leave. When he left, he was kind enough to comb the piglet's hair, and finally, he left without looking back. However, not long after that, the kitten was hungry. He looked at the fish in the water and he thought of a good idea. This is not a simple dog. He came to the beach with its tail, with its long tail.
No, to už ani nemá zmysel. No ale ďakujem aspoň, dúfam, že sa aspoň niekto na to díval. Aspoň na chvíľu, dúfam, že sa niekto díval a čaute teda. Stream sa končí.